Good morning. Before I begin, I'd like to thank my family, friends, teachers, and everyone else who has helped me to succeed in high school. Moreover, I'd also like to say to my grandparents, surprise. They did not know I was speaking today, and somehow my family managed to keep it a secret until now. So I'd like to share a quick story about a conversation I had with my grandmother. One morning, at breakfast, she randomly declared that I was the most mature out of her 5 grandchildren. Immediately, my dad burst out laughing, and I sat there confused, wondering my grandmother would make fun of me. It is well known that I rank, on a good day, in the bottom 2 for most mature in my entire extended family. However, she reaffirmed her declaration and justified it by citing how I often hold doors for excessively long amounts of time and give strangers nods and smiles. In the end, she said, "I can't explain it, but it's Hun. You just seem more aware of other people, and it's Hun." Like my grandmother, I often struggle to find the words to capture Hun's effect on people, as this effect is what I believe makes the school so special. However, after reflecting on my 4 years here, I think I've finally figured it out. Hun promotes a selfless, giving culture that encourages both students and faculty to support each member of our community. Because of this culture, Hun creates a unique academic environment for students to thrive. It creates an environment where I feel comfortable messaging my Latin teacher if I am sick or overwhelmed and ask for an extension. Or going up to any student in the library, no matter how well I know them, and asking for help on a homework problem. Or going to my AP Physics teacher for extra help at 11 p.m. on any day because everyone knows he'll somehow still be in his room. Yet, while this culture allows us to achieve academically, I believe that Hun's greatest contribution to us, the class of 2018, is how it has shaped each of us as individuals. In addition to making holding doors into a reflex, the school has also ingrained certain values in us. My sophomore year, I had just settled down at a lunch table with 2 good friends, one of whom was a junior. My friend saw a freshman sitting by himself one table over, so he invited him to sit with us. When he invited that freshman over, I immediately felt guilty because I had also glanced at him sitting by himself, but just had not thought to invite him over. The reason why I struggled to verbalize what makes Hun special is moments like this. We only ate for a half hour making small talk, and we went our separate ways. However, this very small, seemingly insignificant interaction ended up being a very impactful learning experience for me, developing my awareness of others. We have all had countless other experiences like this at Hun, but often do not even notice them. Eventually, when you add up all these small moments and lessons, they will shape character. Let me tell you a few more stories that can help my grandmother explain what it means to go to Hun. I just pulled into the parking lot of the boathouse in my friend's car. As a team, we always carpooled or practiced together in large groups. We had barely gotten out when a teammate sprinted up to us, out of breath, and said he needed help. The Jeep he was in had gotten to practice early, and they decided to go off-roading through some nearby terrain. However, they had attacked a puddle that was a little too deep, and their car had gotten stuck. We arrived to find the car submerged up to the top of tires in this muddy, filthy cesspool. And without hesitation, we all jumped into this thigh-deep, disgusting body of dark brown water to try to push it out. It wouldn't budge. Another teammate called his dad, who was working, to bring a really big truck. And when he showed up, we jumped right back into the cesspool to connect the Jeep to the truck and help lift the bumper. We finally managed to lift it out, hose ourselves off, and remove ticks, leeches, and enormous splinters. The owner of the Jeep took it to the car wash, and no one was any the wiser. When a friend is in trouble, the Hun way is to jump right in and help, even if it's a filthy cesspool. At Hun, we are all part of the same family. Our freshman soccer team had a very scrappy away game against Hill, and it was very hard for us to keep level heads. The Hill parents were trash-talking from the sidelines, we were getting very roughly fouled, and not a single call was going our way. After a particularly rough foul, where I honestly thought Chris Pontrella had died from a horrific fall, the referee finally decided to call a foul on Chris. At this point, the game had just become dangerous, and we as a team took action. We surrounded the ref to politely plead our case, which he did not care to hear. And I'll admit, we were freshmen, that's a long time ago, so my memory may be a bit fuzzy on some of the details. Anyways, to add insult to injury, some parents from Hill reported that one of our players had cursed at them, which simply was not true. Because of this, we were summoned by Mr. Quirk the next school day for a meeting. And the night before this meeting, we came to the conclusion that we would not lose a player to false accusations. We would fight for his innocence, and if need be, we would lay down our jerseys for him, as we would not allow the legacy of our freshman soccer team to be tarnished. In the end, our coach was able to get him off the hook pretty quickly, so we didn't need to lay down our jerseys, but it still shows what we're willing to do for each other. We learned what it means to be a Hun student from the example set by our teachers. Amanda mentioned the Jeopardy game in econ class that many of us played. She talked about how the class brought her team out of their shells so that they could succeed. I learned a completely different lesson from that class. Our teacher warned my team against excessive betting countless times, as we would often bet ourselves from first to last place on one or two bad questions. One day, in order to teach us a lesson, he lured us in with easy softball questions, and we decided to bet all our points on the next question, which of course ended up being nearly impossible, driving us deep into the negatives. We both learned valuable lessons about decision-making, a skill that is not easy to teach. However, he used the same method to instill opposite lessons in us: confidence versus restraint. Hun teachers go beyond what is in their curriculum when they help develop character, taking a personal approach. This selfless culture has shaped all of us, and now we are moving to college, one step closer to the real world. And Hun has prepared us exceptionally well. Yes, we have learned math and English and science and history, and so has every other student at every other school in the country. Hun's greatest gift to us is lessons learned outside the curriculum. They come from the most unexpected places, from jumping into mud puddles and freshman athletics, and most importantly, from role models. I'm unbelievably fortunate to have had countless teachers and friends to admire and learn from, so to each and every one of you, thank you, and I'll miss you.
I love the nice. That's one of the best. Nice job, Great stories.